Hey everybody, welcome back to the Marvel Champions Monthly Progression playthrough series that we're adding to our new player portion of our YouTube channel. I am KennedyHawk. Today I am playing Aggression Kamala Khan against Standard Risky Business from the Green Goblin scenario pack. So if you weren't playing Marvel Champions way back then, but you're joining now, these were the first 3 expansion packs that came out to the game. Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel, Steve Rogers, Captain America, and the Green Goblin scenario pack all came out on the same day. It was a huge boon to deck building, right? 2 new pre-constructed decks with back-of-pack cards. So since I'm playing progression style, I'm limiting myself to cards in the core set and cards from Captain America's pack and Kamala Khan's pack, or Ms. Marvel's pack. And we'll be going through all 4 versions of the Green Goblin. So that's Standard Risky Business, Standard Mutagen Formula, Expert Risky Business, and Expert Mutagen Formula. And honestly, this was one of my favorite releases for Marvel Champions because we got 2 new heroes and a scenario at the same time. It just boomed the game for me because it gave so much more variety on top of the core set, which was already really great. So if you've been following this series, like I said, I'm going to play through every scenario on Marvel Champions this year. I'm not going to try to win every scenario because there's some hard ones in there, but I'm going to play through every scenario in progression style so you can see what it's like to play through the game and expand with the card pool as it grows. So if you're a new player and you're watching this, you probably haven't played against Risky Business before. So Risky Business is a flipping villain. This villain can flip from Norman Osborn to Green Goblin form. When he flips to Green Goblin, he always does some kind of damage to the players in hero form. So you got to be a little bit careful with when you flip him. But there's kind of a gimmick here. He's also got a flipping environment. So Green Goblin says, when Norman Osborn would attack, place 1 infamy counter on Criminal Enterprise instead. So he's not going to deal damage to you when he's in Norman Osborn form. And then there's a forced interrupt when Norman Osborn would take any amount of damage, remove that many infamy counters instead. So you also can't damage Norman Osborn. When he flips to Green Goblin, it's kind of the opposite. This card flips and he's trying to get back into building his Criminal Enterprise, but he's dealing a ton of damage to you, and if he would scheme instead, he'll start to become a little more sane. So we can use this to our advantage, right? We can flip to hero form, not attack him, and build our board state. He's never going to deal damage to us. The threat's just going to go up by 1, so we can sort of maintain the board state for a while, and then eventually, once we have all of our personas and upgrades and allies out, we can flip him to Green Goblin and take him down real fast. So that's what we're going to try to do. Show you all this little gimmick, and then we'll do it again in expert mode and see what the difference is in a couple videos. So, our opening 6 cards are Polymer Suit, Bruno, oh my goodness, Sneak By, Tigra, Mockingbird, and Big Hands. We don't care about allies and stuff like that yet, so maybe we care about that one. Draw 3 more. We get a Sneak By, a Mansion, and a Relentless Assault. So, we've got a couple things we can do here. We can use Kamala's ability, Teen Spirit, to discard cards until we find a Ms. Marvel card. We find Shrink to add to our hand. Shrink lets you increase how much threat a threat event removes by 2 once per turn. But I think what we'd like to do is, can we play Mansion? We can't play Mansion and get both of these cards off. But Mansion is going to help us a lot more in the long run. So I think we're going to pay for a Mansion. We'll draw a card off Mansion. We'll spend that card to play our Polymer Suit, and we'll hold on to Bruno for now. We are going to flip up and thwart for 1, and then just stay in hero form for a little bit while we build our board. But that Mansion is going to help us accelerate a lot faster. So we've got Strength, Chase Them Down, Bruno, Downtime, Red Dagger. So pretty good setup for what we want to do here. The villain is going to get 1 threat. They're going to get 1 shield or infamy counter and deal us 1 encounter card, which is an advance. So he'll scheme for 2/2, almost threading out immediately. Wow. Okay. Well, that happened. Let's Avengers Mansion into an Embiggen. We're going to use 2 Strength and Chase Them Down to play Red Dagger, who will thwart for 2. We're going to use Bruno and Downtime. No. We're going to use Downtime to play Bruno. We're going to hold on to Embiggen. I hate holding on to cards, but we got to do it for now. We're going to thwart for 1 more, just removing a little bit more threat from there, keeping Embiggen in hand. And again, we're going to keep using this gimmick of staying in hero form while we set up. So we've got Nick Fury, Wiggle Room, Energy, Relentless Assault, Embiggen, and a card draw from Mansion. So we're getting 1 threat in the main scheme, Villain's going to get a shield and a Goblin Glider, so he has a massive amount of attack now, but we don't really care about that because we don't plan on letting him attack us for a while. Let's go ahead and mention a Lockjaw into hand. We'll use Wiggle Room, Energy, Lockjaw to play Nick Fury, who's going to draw us 3 more cards. And this is going to let us really take that threat down to 0, which is really nice. So Nick and Red Dagger will thwart. We will use Chase Them Down and Power of Aggression to play Embiggen. I think we're actually going to flip down, which isn't super safe, but it's a thing I do sometimes to play a Big Hands under Bruno. And we'll use Teen Spirit with Kamala because we're just looking for her personas at this point. We get a Big Hands. So we've got a copy of Big Hands and Relentless Assault. Let's throw away the Relentless Assault and keep the Big Hands because we're going to put it under Bruno for a real explosive turn someday. But we can only do that once per turn, so it'll have to wait. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new cards coming at us. We've got First Aid, Wiggle Room, Nakia, Amir, Endurance, and Big Hands. Villain's turn. They're going to get 1 threat. They are going to scheme for 2, 3. So we're up to 4 total threat. And our encounter card is a guard minion. Nick Fury will go away, and it's our go. So let's go ahead and use First Aid to play Amir Khan. Amir has a pretty cool ability. You can put a card from your discard pile on the bottom of your deck. So we will go ahead and put Shrink on the bottom of our deck, and then draw a card. I think at this point we'll use Kamala's Teen Spirit to get a sneak by, and then we'll use Mansion to draw 1 more card. So we have a really big hand, in case that joke didn't land. 2 big hands under Bruno. He's got big hands. I don't know what else to say. Let's go ahead and use Melee to play Nakia. Nakia to play Endurance to give us 3 more hit points. You can see our board state is a little bit wild here. We have used Teen Spirit. We have used Mansion. I think we're going to flip up this turn. And we'll use... will we use Chase Them Down? We're not going to take care of that private security this turn. Or are we? Or are we? Decisions are hard. Yeah, we're going to use Polymer Suit and Chase Them Down to play Sneak By. Just remove 3 threat from the main scheme. Red Dagger will punch this guy for 2 and go to our discard pile, which is okay for now. Miss Marvel will punch him for 1 more. And we've got a Wiggle Room in hand that we're going to hold on to. So we've got 3 personas. And things are looking pretty good. I'm actually going to discard Wiggle Room and draw into Hulk, Shrink, and deal ourselves an encounter card. So the villain phase is about to begin. They're going to get 1 threat. They're going to get 1 shield. Little guy's going to attack us for 1. That's totally okay. We've got 2 encounter cards to deal with. But let's see what the rest of our hand is. So far we have Hulk and Shrink. We also have Relentless Assault, First Aid, and Relentless Assault. Not a bad hand right now. So first we get Intimidation. That will deal the villain a boost card. It's okay for us for now. And we get Payoff, which is a 2-threat side scheme with a hazard icon. All right. What are we going to do here? First thing first, we're going to Mansion a Nick Fury into hand. Woo! Things are looking good for us. I don't know how I'm going to afford that Nick Fury. That's another good question. I want to keep a Relentless Assault and be able to play a Relentless Assault. Yeah, I think we're going to Bruno those 2 big hands to our hand. And we're real awkwardly going to just use them as resources to play Nick Fury. He's going to draw us 3 cards. We draw into big hands, Sneak By, and Relentless Assault. We'll then use Polymer Suit and 1 Relentless Assault to play another copy of Relentless Assault, and we'll Embiggen it. So it's going to do 7 damage with Overkill. So that's going to take 1 off of the private security and then do 6, which is just enough to pop Norman Osborn into the next form. He deals 3 indirect damage, so we'll do 1 to Fury and 2 to Kamala. And now he is able to attack us, and he is in a state of madness. Madness, I say. All right, so Nick Fury is going to thwart 2 off of payoff. We are going to use Shrink and Big Hands to play a Hulk. It's a Hulk. And we'll thwart for 1. How y'all feel about that? I feel pretty good. We're going to get rid of Sneak By, because now we are just looking for attack events. And unfortunately, all 3 of our big hands are in our discard pile. But we do have melee, so things aren't too bad. 1 threat coming on the main. Green Goblin is going to attack a huge attack into Nick Fury. 4. Heal for 2, but he can't. 5, 6, and remove 1 counter. 6 damage all into Nick Fury's face. Not too bad. We get 1 encounter card, and it's a guard minion. Too bad our Relentless Assault is gone. And it's our go. None of this is good for us. None of this is good for us. So let's mansion a card into our hand. It's a downtime. Okay. We're probably going to have to flip him twice here, is what it looks like. We're going to make a risk. Attack here for 3 with Hulk. We discard a physical resource so we can hit anything for 2, and we'll hit Green Goblin for 2. I think that's what we'll do. Miss Marvel will go ahead and finish off that guard minion. And Hulk has 1 damage on him. We will use Strength and our Polymer Suit to play a melee. And we'll embiggen it to do 5 damage to Green Goblin. We'll also play Chase Them Down when we defeat that minion. Sorry about that. And now we've got a ton of resources in our hand. We're just going to throw down a downtime. And do I flip down? I kind of think I do, just to get things back into my deck. So I'm going to flip down. We're going to use a mirror to put a Big Hands onto the bottom of our deck and draw a card. We're going to use Teen Spirit to look for a Miss Marvel card, really just to get to that Big Hands faster. Because most of our Miss Marvel cards, you may have noticed, are in the board. We get a Wiggle Room and a lot of discards. And we will throw Wiggle Room under Bruno. I think that's all we got. Let's keep melee and power of aggression, because damage is damage still. We've got 2 sneak buys, 2 power of aggression, first aid into melee. We've got everything we could ever want in the field. My board state is in shambles. I am not used to playing someone with this many things on the field. Villain's turn. 1 threat. They are not going to scheme, but they are going to switch back to Norman Osborn form, which is obnoxious. We get 1 encounter card, and it's a Shadows of the Past. All right. Now we're talking. All right, so Generation Who. Discard the top card of each player's deck for each ally and persona support in play. So that is going to be 4 cards discarded from the top of our deck, which is probably going to discard that Big Hands we just put down there. Doesn't that stink? Exactly discards that Big Hands, and we get another encounter card. Oy, oy, oy. All right, our new encounter card is Gang Up, which is going to... No, it's going to Surge, because we're an alter ego. It's a payoff. Cool. We're good at thwarting, sometimes. Not right now, but that's okay. We will be. We will be. We've got one more. Not one more card coming to our hand. What am I thinking? Well, I do have one more card. Mansion. Haha. We have a lot of things going on for us. We cannot Amir. We can't exhaust him. We don't get to place anything in the bottom of our deck, but we do get to draw a card. We can Nakia to reduce the cost of the next card we play. And we will flip up and use Polymer Suit to Relentless Assault Edison for 3 and hit ourselves back in to Norman Osborn form. Hulk will take 3 damage because he's just going to soak a big attack here. We need to do some thwarting. So what are we going to do about that? We are going to... Use First Aid and Power of Aggression to play a Sneak By to remove 3 threat here. That guy goes over here too. And then we will use Melee and Tigra to do the same thing to this other side scheme. Miss Marvel will go ahead and hit off this last one. And we've got a Power of Aggression in our hand that we're going to discard. So we flip down, the board exploded, and then we barely recovered, and now he's going to flip again. That's the problem with this guy. All right, 5 cards in hand. We've got Mockingbird, Chase them down, Big Hands, Chase them down, and Shrink. 1 threat going in the main. Hulk's getting attacked for 4 plus a boost card. It's an advance. Thank goodness, advance is gone. But so is Hulk. We get 1 encounter card. It's going to flip him back. Hysterical, I say. Hysterical. And it's our go. All right. It's time. It's time for the stuff. It's time for the stuff. Let's Mansion. We'll Sneak By into hand. Sneak By. Chase them down. Chase them down. We'll play a Mockingbird, who will stun the villain. And we'll poke him for 2 to flip him back over. Again, we're going to take 3 indirect damage. So 1 will go into Mockingbird, 2 onto Kamala. And we will use Polymer Suit and Shrink to play Big Hands, and we'll embiggen it to do 6 damage. It's going to put the villain down to 1, which is probably okay with us for this turn. And I think we're going to stay in hero form because we've got more Big Hands to come, and we're now like in the end game of this Green Goblin game. All right, pretty good looking hand here. We've got Nick Fury, Relentless Assault, Lockjaw, Red Dagger, and Strength. Out comes 1 threat. Villain is stunned. Encounter card is a Hired Gun, who is going to either get a boost card or place 2 counters on Criminal Enterprise. There aren't counters to place in Criminal Enterprise, but we will give him a boost card then. And it's our go. I think we do Relentless, Lockjaw, and Strength to play Nick Fury and draw 3. Draw 1 off Mansion. Just looking for anything that's damage at this point in life. We do have a melee, and the villain does not have guard. So let's go ahead with Miss Marvel and ping him for 1, which is going to pop him to the next form. He now jumps back up to 18 health. So let's get that out there. And he deals 4 indirect damage to each player. We're going to do 1 to Nick Fury and 3 to Miss Marvel, because we want to keep as many chump blockers up as we can. Now we'll use First Aid, Polymer Suit, Red Dagger to play melee. Do 3 here and 3 here, but we're going to embiggen it to do 5 and 5 instead. So we just did 5 to the villain. We can play Chase them down to remove the last 2 threat. Nick Fury can punch for 2 more, so he's down to 11. And we've got 2 blockers, so I feel pretty safe staying up and getting rid of First Aid. All right, no more going to bed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are almost decked out. We have Relentless Assault, Genius, Wiggle Room, Melee, Big Hands. So enough to probably finish him off next turn. 1 threat going in the main scheme. Villain's going to attack with 2 big boost cards into Nick Fury. So it is a 5/6, 7/8, and remove a counter. I think I may have misplayed there earlier. I can't remember. A bunch of damage is the answer. Nick Fury's dead. And then we've got 1 encounter card, which is Oscorp Manufacturing. It's a 2-threat side scheme because he is not in Norman Osborn form. And it's our go. So we can do some shenanigans here now. We can use Polymer Suit along with Melee to play Big Hands and embiggen it to do 6 damage. So that 10 gets replaced with a 4. We'll then use Miss Marvel to bounce that back to our hand. We can now use Genius in our hand to play Big Hands again to deal another 4. And like all good Hawkeye players, we're just going to use Mockingbird to do that last damage to Green Goblin. Finish him off. So there you go. It was a little bit messy. But we made it. We had 2 cards left in our deck, and that was Green Goblins. Let me get the Green Goblin shenanigans out of here, and we will lay out this Miss Marvel deck so you can see what we're playing with progression style. So there's going to be lots of clicking here as I sort cards. It's like my favorite thing to do after playing a game. Like I say that, and you think it's sarcastic, but it's really like real life for me. I love sorting cards. Unless it's the hood, then I hate sorting cards. All right, let's get the Miss Marvel cards out of the way first, and then we'll go through basic cards, things like that. So we've got, obviously, our Miss Marvel kit here, which consists of 3 copies of Sneak By, 3 copies of Big Hands, 2 Wiggle Rooms, so that's 8 events that we're able to recur. We've got our Polymer Suit, which is our resource generator, and our 3 lovely personas. We have Shrink and Biggin and Red Dagger. So in basic land, we have Energy, Genius. Where is it here? Strength. So we've got our 3 resources. We're including all the allies we can this early in the card pool. So that's Lockjaw, Nick Fury, Mockingbird. And you're going to see this consistently until your decks open up and you're able to survive without having a ton of allies. You're going to want to push a bunch of allies in your deck. I include 1 copy of Endurance and Downtime in about just about anything about this point in the card pool. Getting 3 extra hit points can avoid you flipping down. Downtime is a little more situational, right? If I'm playing a character like Iron Man who has a ton of hit points but can only recover for 3, downtime doesn't help a lot. But with Kamala, if you get downtime on her, you can recover for 7. That can avoid like multiple villain attacks, so I think it's worth it. I put in 3 copies of First Aid, and this is mainly because I want to be able to take that damage from Green Goblin and then heal back up. And Uppercut's just kind of bad, so don't play that card a lot, and that is why. 1 copy of Mansion, because more cards is always good. And then we've got our aggression cards. So we've got, obviously, Hulk, obviously Tigra. So again, all 5 allies that we can include are included in the deck, plus Red Dagger. We're up to our 6 ally threshold that I would always say for deck building. We've got 3 copies of Chase Them Down, so that's just increasing our events that we can bounce up to 11. We've got 3 copies of Relentless Assault and 3 copies of Melee. There are a lot of minions in this deck, and many of them have guard. So Relentless Assault can be really good, works well with Polymer Suit. Melee can also be good, but not so much with the guard minion, but you can kill the Hired Gun plus damaging Green Goblin, which we got to do. Looking for, works really well with Embiggen, but maybe not so well in Risky Business. Would be a really good card to run in Mutagen Formula, which we'll play next using Captain America. So that is the deck I built. If you would have built a different deck progression style, let me know what you would have included, what you would have cut. Maybe a Helicarrier would have been nice. But ultimately, pretty successful game, pretty fun, and can't wait to try the other Green Goblin next. Now, I'm trying to play all of these with their recommended modular sets, but both Green Goblin scenarios recommend Goblin gimmicks, so I'm going to play with the Electro mod instead, which is another mod that was included in the Green Goblin scenario pack. So thanks for tuning in. We will try to bust through these Green Goblin scenarios this weekend, get all the videos recorded, and posted for you to tune in. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day, and happy Gambit and Rogue release day.